Okay. Are we live? Let's see. I think that should do it. I think we should now be live again. So yesterday I said I would advertise this one a little bit and, like, you know, try to get some live viewers or whatever, but due to some shoddy planning, that's not going to be the case. Today's going to be a really short stream. I was thinking that we could look at the concepts that we're going to be working off of, and that's going to be about as much as we have time for today. And we'll start doing some more programming tomorrow. So first, let's do something that's actually more important than the programming itself, and that's going to be the planning. So I'm going to bring up the material we have, and it's a design document and some concept art. That's what we have. I guess I'll start with the concept art because that's what I had at first. So let's see here. One moment here and we should be good. Let's see, I don't know that I saved this for some... Seems like I did not for some reason. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. This one. So I think you should be able to see this. This is the concept art that we have. It's this is the character that we're gonna... This is what the final boss is gonna look like. As you can tell, he looks a lot like Radigan from The Great Mouse Detective. I think it's very cool. I love this design, and he apparently doesn't want to get his hands dirty. And we're actually that is something we're gonna play a bit with in the design, as you'll see later. We do have this concept art. We don't have any in-game art we can use as of now. So this is just going to inform our design, mostly. He also has this mech shaped like a rat skull, which is really cool. And it has these details. You can see it has this like big spike that is supposed to be used for... it says maybe can be used for an electric attack. We may do that, we may not. I'm not really sure. Either way, this looks pretty cool. We have him here in this glass bubble. We have a spike here. We have this ventilation thing that we are actually going to use. We have this exhaust pipe, and we have these legs and this arm here. There's probably an arm on the other side as well, though you can't see it. But I do imagine you will be able to see both legs, so we'll have to work with that. It says here that these might be made up of multiple sprites. In that case, we're gonna have to work pretty hard to make that happen. Or depending on how much space the artist has, they might just draw the full walk animation. Now, I don't know how that's gonna work out, but either way, we can make that happen, I'm pretty sure. This glove looks like it can be used for like punching or grabbing things. I'm probably gonna ask for this to be changed into a like cannon opening, like a big ol' arm cannon on the mech. Like a giant Mega Man X arm cannon, something like that. Ah, damn it! I said it again. This is gonna be the something like that arc. So yesterday I realized I was saying something like that a lot, and it's just a dummy sentence. I shouldn't say it so much. Either way, this is the concept art we have to work off of, and we made a design document based on this. And let's bring that up here. And let's see, this is gonna be a 3-phase fight. We have one page here for each fight. Let's actually change this to print layout here. Okay, awesome. And let's see here, the first phase is gonna be the boss in the mech. I think you can see this text just fine, right? This should be good, I think. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell. I think this is fine. It looks about the same as the code window yesterday, right? So you should be able to read this. So the first phase is the boss is in the mech and he's chasing you. And the vibe of this part is sort of like, oh, you fell into my trap, and then he starts chasing you with the mech. And he like passively walks forwards. It's like this deadly auto-scroller. And that's why in the dummy level I set up, we have Let's see if I can get the correct folder here. Here, in the dummy level I set up, I actually made made it 4 screens wide, because we're gonna have to figure out some way to loop the boss room, and that's a lot easier to do if we have more than 1 screen to work with. Otherwise, you would normally set up a boss room to be like 1 or 2 screens, but we set up 4 screens because we're gonna have to figure out a way to like randomly generate some like rough terrain for this phase, and we're gonna have to figure out also a way for this level to loop, which is gonna be exciting. I've never done that before. I don't really know how we're gonna do it, but I'm sure we can figure it out. And the terrain type, I'm the one who wrote this document. I don't really know a whole lot about this boss, so I don't really know what other people had planned for him. So I just wrote terrain type is whatever fits the level. That doesn't really matter what the graphics look like. That's not going to affect how we code the like the terrain generation. And the mech is gonna have 3 attacks. It's gonna be able to shoot a bullet bill in a straight line. That's why I want the glove to be changed into an arm cannon, so it has something to shoot out of. It can shoot a bob bomb in an arc. I don't really know what the bob bomb comes out of. Maybe like, I don't know. Maybe it also comes from the arm. Maybe you should have like 1 hand and 1 gun. I don't really know. But he can shoot a bob bomb in an arc. You can of course interact with the bomb as usual. You can jump on it to stun it and throw it back at him. And the third attack we have planned here is jet propulsion. He's gonna use these exhaust pipes like jet engines and like boost forward. So like, because this is an auto-scroller kind of face, he's pretty close to the left edge of the screen most of the time. So if you have the screen here, he's gonna be around this area, right? But when he uses the jet propulsion, he will like go faster than the camera for a while, and he'll make it to about here. So you only have very little space to work with. So you probably have to like make use of the rough terrain to like gain some height, or you realize early that he's doing it and you can like make some speed and jump over him maybe. I don't know. Depends on how this spike works as well, right? I don't really know how we're gonna balance this yet, right? But I'm sure we can make this happen. And then after he's done this, he slows down, he stops completely for a while, and the camera catches up with him, and then he starts walking again. To hurt him, this is not gonna be one of those bosses where you just, you wait for the boss to do his worst move, the only move that lets you damage him. No, this is gonna be a fight where you can damage the boss pretty much whenever, and that is the justification to have the move that you can counter. That is... So whenever he throws a bomb, you can use it as a weapon against him, right? If that was the only way to hurt him, why would he use that move? Why would he not just not do that? He could do anything else, right? And that's not the case. We want this boss to seem smart. So the only reason he has this move is that you can hurt him anyway, right? You can spin jump on this glass bubble. This is going to be hard to get enough height, especially as this spike here is in the way. So you have to either make use of the rough terrain, or bounce on a bullet bill, or bounce on a bomb, or like get a running start so you can actually make it up here. And a few spin jumps is gonna break this glass. A bomb throw can also break the glass. And after that, the boss is exposed and you have to damage his face by jumping on him. You can also damage him by throwing fireballs into the ventilation thing here, and that will work regardless of whether the glass is broken. And the reason this is a thing here is that one, it balances the like high tier power-ups. Like fireballs are also, the fire flower is actually useful to bring to this fight, whereas otherwise it would be pretty useless if it can't actually hurt the boss. So now it's not just, oh, I only bring feather or I only bring the leaf because that gives me more mobility. No, the fire actually has its own unique value in this fight. So you can do that. And you can also like bounce on him, but he's gonna have some defense as well. Like I said before, the mech is pretty tall, has this spike in the way, so it's difficult to get up here. And then he also has something that prevents you from just staying here and bouncing on him, and that is if you bounce on him too many times in a row. I don't know how many times that's gonna be. We'll have to test that, have other people test it, see what feels good. He is going to like punch you. Or I wrote swipe with his claws, but he's wearing gloves, So maybe he'll just try to punch you off of him, and that's gonna be like a big old hitbox here. So you can't just jump up once and then keep bouncing until he dies, because he will just punch you and then you fly off and you have to get back up again. So that's gonna be phase 1. It's gonna be pretty frantic, and the boss is probably gonna feel sort of intimidating, at least before the player figures out how to break the glass. I imagine they're gonna figure that out pretty quickly, but I don't know. We'll see. That's what we're gonna go for anyway. And then we have phase 2. And this is gonna be the most try-hard phase. You thought this seemed advanced? This is beans. This is small baby beans. This is gonna be the try-hard phase, from the programming perspective at least, or on our coding side here. And most of the mech is gonna be destroyed. This was an idea from Disc Poppy. Originally I was like, oh, maybe the boss can just fly around or something, I don't know. And he suggested that, or they suggested, that what if like the skull part of the mech survives but the arms and legs come off and the boss just flies around in that like Wily's capsule. And representations of all the other bosses are gonna be present in this phase. I don't know what these are gonna be, if they're gonna be like ghosts of the other bosses or something, but I was asked to incorporate them in some way to show that this guy is the leader of them. And I think there are 4. That's what I believe currently. I hope I'm not wrong. And they're gonna fly around, and the boss can merge with them to use their powers. And in this merge state, the boss will only have like 1 or 2 moves, so it's gonna be pretty easy to predict what the boss will do once you learn what all the different movesets give him. And when he takes damage in this phase, the damage will go to the form he is currently in. So if he merges with like the red form, I don't know if there's gonna be a red form, but let's just imagine there is one, right? Then the red form takes the damage, and if that form takes enough damage, he can no longer use that form for the rest of the fight. So his moveset is going to be diminished the longer the fight goes on. So it's going to be more and more limited, and depending on which forms you take out first, that may or may not make the fight easier or harder. I don't really know. People seem to really like this idea, so we are gonna do it. I think right now the concept is a little bit scuffed because I don't know what these forms are going to be. I don't know what the other bosses are. So this is probably gonna be the phase we make last, unless someone hops in to help us with it. I have no doubt that we're gonna be able to do it. I just don't really know what we're gonna be doing currently, if that makes sense. And after you beat this phase, which you also probably do by jumping on the boss, because that's fun, we go to phase 3. The mech is completely destroyed. Norveg has been pushed back alone with his back against the wall. And he has no more tricks to pull. Just this once, he'll stoop to the level he so despises. He'll pull off his gloves and toss them away, because it's time to get his hands dirty. And of course, I said before, he looks a lot like Radigan, right? So this is gonna be his feral phase. Like anyone who has seen the Great Mouse Detective remembers the scene where Radigan goes apeshit and he goes like feral rat mode, and it's so cool. So we're gonna do exactly that. This is gonna be pretty simple to program. It's gonna be some simple movement for the boss, and it has a simple but I think pretty elegant moveset. He has 2 moves that causes him to like run at you. He will either like just run at you along the ground and try to slash you with his claws, or he will jump at you. And when he does this, he will stop for a bit. He will like squat down so you can tell that he's gonna do this move. Still gonna be pretty fast. Maybe he even gets faster the more damage it takes. And these moves cause you to either wanna like stay on him to jump on him or run away from him. If you run away and you're too far away, he'll start throwing rocks at you. He'll just pick them up from the ground and throw rocks at you. And this move is gonna be really unfair. It's gonna be super fast and super strong. Or super strong, it's a Mario game, you always take 1 damage, right? But it's gonna be super fast. And it's gonna throw them really rapidly to really disincentivize you from being too far away from them. This is not gonna be a fight where camping the boss is gonna be like a good strategy, because usually when bosses let you do that, the fights turn out to be pretty unfun. So this is not gonna be allowed. He's gonna throw rocks at you and you're going to die. So you have to be like within probably like 8 or 10 tiles to him horizontally. And to hurt him, you just jump on him. But he has the same defense that he had in phase 1. If you jump on him more than once without touching the ground in between, he will swipe at you with his claws. This time he swipes. Although if he gets a punch animation in phase 1, he will probably just punch you here as well. I don't really know. I don't really know. But this is the design. So this is basically a spacing battle. The rocks disincentivize you from being too far away from him, and this defense ability he has will disincentivize you from just bum rushing him too much. Because the dynamic of this fight is supposed to be that you're on the defensive most of the time, and you have to dance around his offense and his defense in order to win. So I think if we didn't have this, it would probably feel like the player completely controls the tempo of the fight, which makes the boss feel like less powerful, and I don't think that's really appropriate for the final boss, especially when he's in his rage mode. This phase is not going to be super long, assuming that you like get hits on him pretty quickly. Although, I don't really know. He'll probably have like, I don't know, 10 HP or something, and you just jump on him a bunch of times. Maybe you can hurt him with fireballs as well. Yeah, that's what we got. That's the concept we're gonna be working on. Also for this phase, I want to make a really trippy background effect. We'll just unload layer 2 and we'll replace it with something else. Probably something with a lot of black and red, like it says here. We're gonna use a lot of HDMA effects for this, because that's always fun to code. Yeah, I really said that, didn't I? No, it's not very fun to code HDMA stuff usually, but it's gonna look really cool at the end. So, and this is an SNES final boss, right? He has to have a trippy HDMA effect, otherwise the other bosses would laugh at him. So we're gonna do that as well. And this phase, other than the background, is gonna be pretty simple to code. The like impressiveness factor is mostly gonna be carried by whoever draws the boss. If the graphics are well drawn, this is gonna look really cool. On phase 2, this is probably something that we're gonna have to work really hard on, because we have to make multiple sprites work together. So we need some sort of centralized control system for them. Phase 1, probably gonna be the hardest one for us. We have to make sure that we got terrain generation working properly, and we're gonna have to make the level loop on itself. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but I think we can do it. And then we also need to make sure that the mech and all its various hitboxes are like in the right place and everything. And this is probably the one that is gonna use the most tiles, so we do actually have to worry a little bit about the speed at which we can load tiles, because we don't have SA1. And yeah, that's about it, I guess. I really have to get going, so this is gonna be like the shortest stream of all time, but this is the plan. Tomorrow, I guess I said we were gonna do movement, and I guess that's still true. So I guess we'll make a like simple version of phase 3 just to get started, because this is gonna be the easiest one, and it's gonna show a lot of the basics, at least of my style of coding sprites. We're gonna do some simple like collision detection, some simple movement, a simple projectile, a very simple AI, and like random attack generation, random number attack decision making. Yeah, that's what we're calling it, okay? And then I would like to get some more input from the rest of the team before proceeding with these phases, but if we don't, then we'll just make something up, okay? Also, I might make some placeholder graphics in the meantime off stream. And that's about it. Stay cool, everybody, and tomorrow we're kicking this off for real.